you, nice. Straight ahead, please. Here, right down the front.
Yes. Can I also just stand here as one more? Thank you so much. Thank you.
But I guess after Flower Power and that...
Engelbert Humperdinck kept Strawberry Fields Forever off the top of the charts, and people said that when the Beatles didn't go in at #1 that you know, they were finished. But another thing is, like, the Beatles have had a #2 record, and we'll probably have one, and Engelbert Humperdinck's even better than Blur, so... Anything that's voted for by fans is special. Anything that's voted for by idiots, corporate pigs, means nothing to us.
Some people here are saying you've got an arrogant attitude.
I have, that's what makes Oasis, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
That's not...
Oasis is the last big UK pop phenomenon before the digital tsunami hit. You can say that Take That was, and you can say that the Spice Girls were, but the point about Take That and the Spice Girls was a girl group, you know, a manufactured girl group, and Take That was a manufactured boy group. But Oasis was the real thing. They come out of, you know, uncompromisingly out of Manchester, and they represented a certain kind of attitude. So they weren't Britpop. I mean, Britpop was a little slightly phony kind of Blairite piece of branding. What they represent are the voice of the disenfranchised, and the disenfranchised has grown in Britain. There are now 850,000 young people not in employment, education, or training. I don't know what, you know, what are we doing here, right? There are all those kids all around the UK that actually Oasis anticipated in many ways, because they were neats as well, to use that expression. You know, you couldn't imagine Liam Gallagher working in Tesco's, and you couldn't imagine, I mean, what jobs were those guys going to do? So what they represented has grown and spread in Britain. It's a disenfranchised young people. Now, they're not young people anymore, but that doesn't matter. Their music comes from a time where they were ahead of a curve, and the other curve that they were ahead of was social media, and they were ahead of digitization. So in many ways, they're the peak of Britain's pop music from the old way of doing things, making records and releasing records.
But you know, you can get these CDs nowadays where they sort of play up.
It's a pity, but there you go. Help the workers and all that.
I think Oasis as a brand, as a band, what they represent, you know, white working class youth, people that have pulled themselves up from the bootstraps, the whole mod aesthetic, that's something that has endured from their inception in the early 90s all the way through to now.
You're always stuck with the image that you create in the first place, so we'll always be loudmouth yobbos from Manchester who take drugs, sniff glue, drink beer and shag loads of birds.
With that sort of star persona, they also had like a kind of a fashion brand, you know, your Ben Shermans and so on. And so there's a whole aesthetic that comes with, like, you know, being a hardcore Oasis fan. And because those styles, because those styles are so classic, right? That kind of clean, you know, your Parker jacket and your shirt, your trousers, you know, they endure time and time again because new generations discover them and they think, oh, you know, this is a cool way of looking smart, casual, but slightly rebellious at the same time.
No member's bigger than the band, you know. If you don't want to do it, then that's it, you know.
I don't think you'll see much of us in the near future for one reason or another, but we've got to sit down and see where we're going musically. There's a lot of things to sort out, you know.
Liam is so photogenic, it's unbelievable. And he's uncompromising, you know, he doesn't pose. You don't feel that he puts it on for the cameras. That guy is that guy. He's got those cheekbones. He's got that attitude. He's a really good looking guy. And that really helped, you know. So, I mean, when I talk to my students, I say that all pop people in pop music have three things in common: that they all make a noise, they all look in a certain way, and they can all tell a story about why they make the noise they do, and why they look the way they do, you know, the values that they represent. So everybody's got a sound, a look, and a story. And Oasis had ticked all three boxes in a big way. They sounded great, they looked great, and the story was always great because the story was authentic. I mean, they weren't messing around. I mean, I've met them on numerous occasions. I mean, that tension is a real tension. It isn't pretend, you know?
How's it going with your brother?
Sounds were great. Both friends, not yet. Hello. Can't do it anymore, you know. And I regret it really because we only had 2 gigs left. If I had my time again, I'd have gone back and done the gigs. That gig would have been dreadful because he was out of his mind, you know. I'd have done that gig and I'd have done the next gig and we'd have all gone away and we could have probably discussed it, what we were going to do. We may never have split up. We may just have taken a hiatus and we could have all gone and done our other thing. But Liam always said he would bring down Armageddon in the end. That's the way he kind of likes things to be, you know.
The most important thing is about me and him being brothers. And I've got another brother, you know what I mean, that he doesn't speak to, so it'd be nice for us all 3 of us to be together. And obviously my mum's still alive, so she gets upset by it, but he thinks that I'm sort of like desperate to get the band back together and for money, and it's not, I didn't join a band to make money, I joined a band to have fun, you know what I mean, and get off my head and, you know, go and see the world and that, you know what I mean. If I'm only, I'd do it for nothing, if everyone else is doing it for nothing.
They weren't play acting. There's a real rub between them. So in terms of the narrative, then the narrative is what happens behind the scenes. We all want to know what happens behind the scenes. What's it really like? And those two just let us know. It's like this. I ate him, and you know, I could give you the string of expletives to go with it. But I mean, soap opera, isn't it? It was like a living soap opera, and that's why people. One of the reasons why people were so excited by it.